We'll start here on the left with Tim.
Tim Reynolds, AP. Rick, you guys have obviously made a habit of these incredible last-second events throughout this postseason. How, in a building where this team does not give up leads like that, where did you guys find the wherewithal to pull this one off?
Just had to hang in. The first half was rough. 19 turnovers. The good thing was it was only 9 points, and so we were within reach of still being in the game. I think we won the third quarter by 3, which was progress. And then they went up 15, and we just said, hey, let's just keep chipping away at the rock, and keep pounding the rock, and just chip away and hang in. And we've had a lot of experience in these kinds of games, and our guys have a real good feel for what it's all about, giving ourselves a chance, and we got fortunate, but made plays.
Right here in the front.
Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files. Rick, take us through kind of the locker room after the game, the message, because you want to enjoy it, but you also quickly have to move on to the next one.
Yeah, we haven't been celebrating a whole lot with anything, really, and that's some of that is our experience last year. Some of it is Pascal having been through, this kind of a run and getting to the finals before. We know we have a lot of work to do, and we have to play a lot better. I mean, 19 turnovers and a half is, if it's not a record for the finals, it's got to be up there, close to it. And so, and they're a menace, defensively, and we too often took it into crowds, and then other times they just take the ball out of your hands. I mean, it's just it's the level of their defense is crazy good. So, but to answer your question, a real even temper after the game, and now there's two days between the first two games. Instead of a 13-day series, which we had with New York, this is day 1 of 17 days. So this is going to be a long journey and a lot going on, and so we're just going to have to keep our eye on the ball and keep focusing on one another.
Steve, right here in the front.
Rick, besides taking better care of the basketball, what went on in the locker room at halftime? It seemed like you guys might have figured something out or wanted to approach things differently than that first half.
Well, there were different areas. I mean, they were getting to the rim a lot in the first half. The turnovers were the first thing that we talked about. It seemed like we were doing a good job on the boards, but they had 20 more shots than we did in the first half. And so, that was really fool's gold too. And so, look, it was just, hit the reset button. Let's go whistle to whistle in the third quarter, try to chip away at it and try to hang in.
Mark here right in the front of the right.
I know you're being cool and Luke right now and all that, but at any point did you say, damn, that was a hell of a comeback?
No. Listen, been through too much of this, over the years, and we've just got to be very much present in the moment and understand what this is all about. This is all about keeping poise, and at the same time having a high level of aggression, and those two forces fly in the face of each other a bit. And look, this arena is madness. I mean, this is I don't know, from a road perspective, the decibels were insane. And so, it's there's a lot going on. Grateful to have the chance to hang in and give ourselves a chance at the end. But now we've got to, keep our eye on the ball.
Over here on the right.
Rick, Nemhardt's play the last few minutes, not just the shots, but the defense. What was he able to do to kind of keep you guys connected and give you guys a chance to take it at the end?
Well, he made big plays at both ends. The one stop on Shea at the end was a big play, and then we got to rebound. There was the step back 3, which was a big momentum play. I think it went from 6 to 3. And then there was an and one where he got to the rim. I don't know what point it was in the fourth, but a lot of big plays, and you got to have playmakers against Oklahoma City. I mean, they just they make it so difficult defensively.
Right here on the right.
Rick, it looked like during that review, the Siakam out of bounds review, the guys were huddling up right before the ruling came down. I'm going to assume that you kind of gave them directive on how to play the next possession if it didn't go in your favor. How comfortable were you in not calling a timeout in that situation and letting Tyrese just go spread floor?
Yeah, that's very. I mean, we talked about it. We still didn't know the outcome of the challenge yet, but we said if it is their ball, let's get the stop. There's going to be a difference in the shot clock and the game clock. And if we get a stop and get the rebound, we're going to go. We're going to go. And hopefully get the ball in Tyrese's hands and look to make a play. So all that worked out. I mean, the Nembhard play to stay in front of Shea was a huge play. I think I don't know if Neesmith or Obi got the rebound. I haven't looked at it yet, but we were able to get the ball into Ty's hands, and he made the shot.
Middle row on the left, Joe.
Hey Rick, Joe Barton, The Athletic. After game one in New York, Tyrese told this cool story about you guys would put the ball in his hands when he was younger and you guys weren't very good to work on maybe one day being in these kinds of moments. Now that it's worked out, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times in the end of these playoff games where he wins it with the shot, what's it like for you to watch him at the end of these games, just sort of knowing the investments that you guys made years ago?
Well, getting to this point is a long process, and you make a trade for a player like that 3.5 years ago, whatever it was. You look at the present, but you look toward the future, and the hope was that we could build quickly. Kevin and Chad did a great job with surrounding Ty with the right guys, and then getting Pascal last year was reverential for our team, and we just try to get the ball in his hands as much as possible in those situations. And when it doesn't happen, we've got Nembhard and we've got Pascal, and that gives us 3 playmakers, in our closing group. So, all 3 of them do great things. So we were very fortunate tonight, but we did a lot of things to give ourselves a chance, and that was very good.
Last question here on the right.
Hey, Rick Valencia, King Real Talk Sports. Appreciate your time. One of the pillars you've said this team is built on is tenacity. From a coach's perspective, does it rejuvenate your coaching energy when you see this team continue to be resilient night in and night out?
My coaching energy's fine. But look, it's a group I love. It's a group that we've invested a lot in. How we were going to draft, who we were going to draft, development. This year especially is a year that I'm proud of from a coaching perspective, because not only did we win enough games to get into the top 4, but we're still developing players. I mean, Walker played 11 or 1,200 minutes. Matherin played over 2,000, started 48 games. And look, Oklahoma City's doing it before everybody's eyes. I mean, they've been a development machine here over the last 5 years since Mark's been the coach. So, from those perspectives, this series is it has a lot of intrigue and should for the fans.